When most people today hear the term pirate, they almost certainly conjure up images of pistol-shooting crazy madmen plundering the Caribbean like Captain Jack Sparrow, which, cool as it is completely inaccurate. However, the true story of piracy is, in many ways, far more interesting than the fairy tales that Hollywood gave us. So, in this video, we'll take a look at real piracy, how it was different from what most people think, and what the actual pirates were like. Throughout history, piracy has been commonplace in all corners of the world. It was just as common in the Mediterranean and South China Sea as it ever was in the Caribbean. However, the focus of this video will be on piracy in the Caribbean, so when I use terms like pirates and piracy in this video, I'm only talking about pirates in that region and not the wider world. With that out of the way, we can move on to causes of piracy, of which there are many, and like most things in history, it's complicated. But a lot of it started with the Anglo-Spanish War, which lasted from 1585 to 1604. Now, it would take forever to explain the intricacies of such a long and complicated war, but in a nutshell, Portugal and Spain controlled basically all of the Caribbean and South America during this time, and England and its allies wanted that to end. So, during the war, some of them hired former sailors to go out and destroy Spanish ships for them, in exchange for some of the profits. These people were known as privateers and became hugely successful. Eventually, though, not so surprisingly, some of the privateers realized they could just keep on plundering without having to give any of the profits to their home countries, and all of a sudden, the European powers found themselves having to deal with hundreds of rogue pirates destroying their ships. They tried to counter this by enlisting pirate hunters, but they too eventually decided to go it alone, further worsening the problem. Throughout this period, Spain was busy getting rich by mining silver, which was abundant in Bolivia. But as piracy grew more common, it became very risky to ship an entire galleon full of silver through the Caribbean. So, once a year, a huge fleet of Spanish ships would arrive in Panama to collect all the silver that had been mined and return it to Spain. This was called the Spanish Treasure Fleet. Despite the convoy being heavily armed, it was still a very tempting target for pirates. They mostly avoided taking the whole fleet on at once, preferring to pick off stragglers instead. But on a few rare occasions, a group of pirates managed to capture a larger group of ships, making them instant legends around the world and unbelievably rich. Generally, though, the treasure fleet was a success, and continued supplying Spain with riches for nearly 200 years. While I don't think anyone would be surprised to learn that Hollywood pirate movies aren't very historically accurate, I was blown away at some of the stuff that was just completely made up while researching this. For one thing, there are not any records of pirates walking the plank or burying their treasure on a deserted island. If a pirate betrayed his crew, he would either be killed or left on an island to fend for himself. And oftentimes, pirates didn't care too much about silver or gold when raiding another ship, but preferred just to take food and supplies for their next voyage, or, in some cases, the ship itself. Another major misconception is that pirates talked any differently from other people. The vast majority of pirates and privateers had previously worked as sailors in the navies of their home countries, so any English pirates probably sounded fairly similar to you or me. In reality, pirates, great adventures though they had, were just people trying to make a living and discovered that doing so illegally paid much better.